It is indeed a funky tune. Hi, everybody, and welcome back. God, what a way to start the show. I love nothing but some incredibly frantic troubleshooting right before the show. I use a peripheral. I don't know, kind of a peripheral keypad, and it has all my scenes on it, like when we do the news transition to the news screens, to the article screens, etc. So I use that to switch around, but it was not working, and I'm like, so my franticness in the last several minutes was, why the hell isn't it working? What's going on? It happened just before I went to the conference, but I thought it was just a one-time thing. However, it wasn't just a one-time thing. So I had to just figure out what it was and then frantically reconfigure things. And now it's working, thank God. So that's why we're late. I apologize. I don't like to be late, but at any rate, we're here. So better late than never, right? Hope everything's going good out there. Good evening to you, Jason. Great to see you, and thank you to whomever, who is it said I'm talented? I do see things as they scroll by. Oh, I'm very gifted. Thank you, Annie. I appreciate that. That's very nice. And it is, Maggie said it's a funky tune. That tune is called Creatures. I don't know. There's a version of it with a lot more sound effects on it, but I don't know. I kind of like the cleaner version, I think. I'm not really impressed with a lot of the sound effects I put on the other one, so I went back to the cleaner version and then had some video elements there. So for your viewing pleasure, when we do these live streams, it takes a few minutes for people to go, oh, they're live. Let's, come on over. So any advice for someone moving to Eastern Washington, Western Idaho? Any advice for me? I don't know. I mean, everybody up here has been wonderful. I'm a Minnesota transplant myself up here in North Idaho, and everybody's been fantastic. There's some really incredible people here. I mean, there's an old saying, Minnesota nice, and people in Minnesota generally are really nice people. And I wasn't sure what I was getting into when I moved up here, but honestly, people have been wonderful and very welcoming and everything. I'm very excited for another episode of the Paranormal Portal with our favorite podcaster, Brent Thomas. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate that wonderful, glowing review. I'm very excited to be giving you another show. If you missed it or haven't been around for a while, I just got back on Sunday from Kalispell, Montana, where we did the Kalispell Bigfoot Town Hall, and it was a wonderful event. I met a bunch of wonderful people, including some people I knew very well. Our very own Barbara Mora traveled from Southern California, up there to attend, and so it was wonderful to see her. And also Deanna stopped in, which was really cool. Many of you probably remember Deanna. She's a wonderful soul, and she's been, she came all the way over there as well. She lives kind of in the neighborhood, but it was just really cool. And then I met a bunch of new people, a bunch of wonderful new people that I'd never met before, and it's really exciting. We had a lot of fun. We had some great discussions. I did my first presentation, and, I think it worked out pretty well. I shared some pictures. We did a live stream from there. You saw Barbara. She was hanging out with me as I did part of the live stream. That was a lot of fun to put her on camera with me. She's a natural. She did really well. She didn't seem nervous at all. She just was having a good time. And I really hope we did pretty good. I think it was a success. It was the first event of its kind up there. There isn't any other Bigfoot festivals up in Montana, which is hard to believe because that's definitely Bigfoot country. And talking to some of the locals up there, there's a lot of stuff going on, but I'm surprised nobody's put together a conference before now, but we did. And we had a great time. Special thanks to Stephen Major and Bigfoot Today for making that happen. It was really marvelous. I had a lot of fun. And I posted, the live stream, I showed the booth that I set up. I was really excited about that. And I've gotten a lot of wonderful compliments about that. So thank you, everybody. I'm glad you guys liked it. It is a step up. Don and I have done several conferences before. But generally speaking, we would kind of just bring the banner and throw out some cards and then talk to people, which was okay. But in my ventures going to all these conferences and seeing some of these incredible, elaborate setups people do, it's like, oh man, I'm really dropping the ball, because I don't think I was really representing the show very well. And so, I threw that together. I've had, tons of decorations. I love Halloween anyway. And so I had a bunch of really creepy decorations. I made this signpost that's here. It's next to me in the studio now, and it'll come with me to other events. I like Brent's candlestick. Oh, thank you. I'm glad Don wasn't here for that one. You're just all good. Thank you, Maggie. I appreciate that. Yeah, there was shopping. Barbara did some shopping. There was a mall attached right to the convention center, so Barbara went shopping. It was fun. Sexiest man on the internet on your screens. Awooga. I love you, Casey, whoever you are. Thank you. Casey Jones Astrology. Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice. I wish that were the truth, but I'm glad that that's your opinion. Very cool. But yeah, we met some wonderful people. We had a wonderful time, had a great discussion. I was exhausted though. I'm telling you, I did my presentation and then did the emceeing, introducing everybody. And then, we did a huge town hall discussion, which is what a town hall is. It's where people generally have, talk about what they've experienced, any questions, comments. Our good friend Charles Howard Johnson got up and did an incredible presentation. And he had some incredible participation from the audience as well, which is awesome. And so we just had a really good time. So once again, for those of you that were able to check out the live stream, awesome. For those two of you that showed up, I love you guys. That was really cool. It was good to see you again, Barbara. I'm going to be seeing Barbara again, I'm sure, in Vernal, Utah, for Phenomicon, which is going on in September. There's another event that I'm going to, and that's in Pocatello, Idaho, and that'll be in 26th and 27th. And Dr. Jeff Meldrum will be speaking there. I'm not speaking at that event. I'm just going to be going to represent the show and set up a table. That table or some version of it, hopefully a little improved. But I'm going to set up there and just introduce people to the portal because I got to get out there and do it. I was asleep. It was 4 a.m. here when you went live. Oh, that's okay. I'm sorry about that. Member for 23 months, Mr. Don remembered. Speaking to Don, just thank you very much, everybody, for all your prayers and love that you guys have been sending. And, it's been going wonderful for him. And good to see you here, Don. We missed you, brother. But I'm glad things are turning around and things are getting better. So, it's just really cool. We love Don and certainly, it's been an incredible time for him. Not in a good way, but things are looking good. So, anyway, I don't even know what I'm implying here. I'm just saying, Don has not been here, but we miss him. So, anyway, good to see you, brother. Thanks so much for stopping in. And hopefully you stick around if you can. But where the hell was I going with this? Yeah, Pocatello, I'll be driving down there and doing that one. And then Don and I, and possibly Sheldon, will be going to Vernal, Utah. And that'll be exceptional. That'll be fun. The three of us together. Can you imagine? Look out, Vernal. No, it'll be fun. It'll be fun. Now, all right, so, I'd love to meet Sheldon. Yeah, that'd be good, Roman. I mean, if he's able to swing it, you'll get to meet him then. But we're gonna do the wagon train down there. That's a hell of a drive. Don's a good driver though, thank God. He lets me sit there and just watch scenery, which is awesome. I had to drive to Kalispell, and that was only 3 hours, but it was a long 3 hours. I'm not much for the long haul. Yeah, we're missing you too, brother. But again, awesome, and we'll keep sending our love and prayers to you and yours, and I'm sure everything will be wonderful. So I got a lot to get to tonight. Obviously, we got to get to the news here pretty quickly, and then we'll be getting to what else? We're gonna get to? Oh yeah, I got an article I'm kind of excited to read to you guys because it's a little different, a little I haven't pre-read it, but it looks really good from the heading. So we'll get into it together. Is Deb here? Hi, Deb Varner. Hoping you're feeling better. Did Deb come in? I got to see. I hope so. Yeah, Deb's been doing better as well. She's had a hell of a journey. And, our prayers go out to her continually to keep rebounding. We miss you, Deb. But anyway, we're going to get to the news, going to get to an article, and then we'll get into the Crypted Corner to wrap it all up tonight. But I really missed you guys. We didn't do any shows Friday and Saturday, so it's wonderful to be back, and can't wait to dig into this. So, God, was there anything else? I'm a little bit frazzled because of the tech difficulties right away. Always throws me on a bender. I see Portal Mom was in here. Hello. Hi, Christy. Good to see you. Wonderful to see you. Thanks for stopping in. Portal Mom's there. There you are, Portal Mom. Okay, so we're going to get to the news, and I got a bunch of articles pulled up. We're not going to read all of them tonight, but yeah, it'll be hopefully informative and educational, maybe, but at the very least, entertaining. So without any further delay, ladies and gentlemen, I'm about to news you up. So it's time for the news. And now that Don's here, Don, you got to know that everybody still sings brown chicken, brown cow in their head. You've infected all of us. All of us. So thanks for that. I appreciate it. All right, here we go. Time for the news. Let's see what's going on in the world around us. Thanks, Roman. Here's to you, Don. Brown chicken, brown cow. God, that brown chicken, brown cow. God, it sticks in my head. It's dug into my gray matter deeply. I can't forget it. I can't unhear that every time I hear that news theme. So, welcome to the news desk. All right. This goes out to my fan over in Amsterdam. Thank you. Thank you. That was my first solo in a long time. I think it went well. Very melodic, wouldn't you agree? All right, let's get on with it. It's time for the news, and in everyday portal fashion, we've got several articles coming up. Always remember, we use several sites throughout the course of our journey here on the show. I just ask that you guys support these sites as you can. Go visit them. Go give them some traffic, because in the world of the interwebs, your visits equal revenue to keep the lights on, and that's important. So, excuse me, please. I kind of like water burps now. There goes one. There we go. Sorry about that. That's kind of gross. Yoko Ono would be proud. Oh, God, I remember that one song Yoko Ono sang. Well, I mean, she sang a bunch of them, I'm sure, but I only remember one, but it was like, kiss, 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 kiss me, love. It was the most insipid thing I'd ever heard, but I don't know. Love is blind. Love is blind. That's all I'm going to say. All right. Anyway, let's get into this and see what articles I've pulled up. Was she serious or was it satire? Who? Yoko? Hey, time kind of slipped away from me. Hi, Brent. Hi, Gypsy. Good to see you. Thanks for coming in. Over on Twitch. And, of course, Barbara's over on Rumble right now. I don't see Saipan over there. So, wonder what happened. Going to be some demerits. But we got some articles to get through. So, let's dig into this. Enough of me ad-libbing and running my gums. So, the first article is from an amazing site. I love this site. This is one of those sites that I'm hoping you guys will help visit and check out. And we'll get into the first article. And this one is actually a UFO phenomena article from unexplained-mysteries.com. And this article is multiple video clips show brightly lit UFO over the streets of Tehran. I don't know. That's pretty spectacular. But again, it makes you wonder. I mean, obviously, tensions are high in that region, and I'm sure there's got to be psyops going on. It's just kind of the way things are done. So, could this be a blue beam thing, or is this really and truly some extraterrestrial or otherworldly craft hovering over the top of Tehran? I don't know. That's a huge thing, a huge statement, though, whatever it is. Let's see what it says, and it could just be a hoax. I mean, that's always a possibility as well, but let's read into it and find out what's going on. It is kind of monochrome, though, isn't it? It's just all like, it's kind of like you're looking through night vision. It's just all in green hues. So that's interesting. Whereas, I mean, it's obviously it's not night vision because the building is in normal color over here. So, well, I don't know. Maybe it's just a leprechauns up there in their starships. I don't know. A strange object was spotted over Iran and has been captured on camera from multiple different angles. Well, there you go. It's multiple angles, so maybe it was... At least that gives it a little more credibility, possibly, because if it's a hoax, it's just going to be one angle. Somebody's going to make it and release it and put it out there. But when you get different angles on it, it could be a coordinated hoax, but it could also be legitimate. So let's see what's going on. It's not that often we get to see clear video footage of an unidentified flying object, but in this particular instance, we have not one, but several clips of the same object filmed by several different people. The sighting, which reportedly occurred over Tehran, involved a brightly lit circular-shaped object that was spotted swooping over the streets of the city at quite a low altitude. From the footage, the object also features a prominent array of green lights. Yeah, they gotta love green, wherever these people are from. Around its circumference. And what makes this sighting particularly interesting is the fact that the same UFO was seemingly filmed from multiple different angles by several witnesses who were located in various parts of Tehran at the time. So what exactly could the object be? UFO? I'm just going to go out on a limb here. I'm going to vote UFO. Let's see what they say. One possibility is that it's some sort of drone swarm with several drones flying together in formation. I'm not seeing that. I'm not seeing that. I don't think I would go with drone swarm. But anyway, let's go. Continue. It's also possible, however, that the entire thing is a hoax and that all the different clips of the object have been fabricated and then distributed under different accounts on social media. True. You can't discount that. In many ways, the sighting is perhaps a little too good to be true. You can watch the clips yourself below. What do you think? So this has come from Great White's profile on X. Pretty insane footage coming out of Tehran. Is this real or fake? Well, let's have a look. It looks like it's got 4 play buttons, so I guess we'll look at all of them. Here's looking at the first one. Oh, we're going to get him in a new screen and everything. Okay. All right. What's going on? That didn't make any sense. Wow. Okay. So that's the first one. Let's look at the next one. Looks pretty good. I don't know. Again, could be fake. All right. I don't speak Arabic, so I don't know what they're saying, but that's pretty interesting. Let's check out the next one. All right, that's number 2. Let's check out number 3. That's pretty interesting. I don't know. Let's check out the last one. There it is.
داره میاد جلو. نمیدونم.
Well,
این چیه دیگه تو آسمون؟
I think his reaction is by far the most unimpressive.
داره میاد جلو. نمیدونم.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
این چیه دیگه تو آسمون؟
Well, there they are. I don't know. I'll put a link to this in the chats, and you guys can certainly check it out. Maybe look closer at these and see what you think. But it's a pretty interesting clip, or clips rather. I mean, it's either one of two things. It's either legitimate or a hoax, and I realize that's painfully obvious, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a case of mistaken identity or drones flying in formation or anything like that. I don't think it's that. I think it's either this is a coordinated hoax where several people shot footage in the same night in the skies, or this is possibly a legitimate sighting and captures. It's absolutely bizarre, but very interesting. If the third one flew over my head for a nanosecond or more, I would question myself, the Earth, the world, the universe. Yeah, I mean, really. The excitement wears off after a while. Well, sure. I mean, yeah, it could be legit. It could not be legit. I don't know. It's a Rick and Morty promo. Yeah, it could be, I guess. I don't know. Yeah. It's compelling. It's compelling footage. I'm not going to say it's true or not. I mean, obviously, we just can't know. These things really get down to, what do you think? Because there isn't much to go on. You know, I had Digger Dogs over, and Rumble, good to see you. Thank you so much. Got an itchy cough for me. Excuse me. There, I had to cough a little bit. Hopefully that'll work it out. Time for a new instrument of song. Who else is remembering? I'm not getting updates on my chat nearly enough. Let me look. I got to see who else remembered here. Excuse me. Karen Alberding and the Fourth Color remembered. Guys, thank you so much. So that's the first article. Hope you guys liked it. I mean, it is interesting. I hadn't seen that footage before right now. Again, there's a million questions without being able to talk to the witnesses and to, tear it apart, break down stories, have them tell their accounts, and actually investigate it. I mean, all we can do is just judge it on face value. And this is very similar to what Don and I did. Don and I did reaction videos on YouTube before reaction videos were a thing. And, I had to hide them all because I kept getting copyright claims by people being dicks about it. But, we were doing it back in 2017. We were doing reaction videos, looking at paranormal videos and just evaluating what were we seeing. Does it look plausible? Does it not? And this is really kind of the same thing. All you can do is just weigh it on face value. We can't dig into it. We can't investigate it. I certainly am not hopping on a plane to go over to Tehran and sit and talk with people. Not that I, would be absolutely opposed to it. I don't think they're probably real fond of us. I don't think it's the everyday people, but of course, I think that their governmental powers don't much like us, and I wouldn't go over there too aggressively. But I think it's interesting. Could be legitimate, and I guess time will tell. Whatever comes of it, or if more information comes out, all we can go on is on this. I don't know who Great White is. The Great White, SHK, is that Chic? I don't know. But at any rate, that's the first article on the news. You be the judge, and check out the clips for yourself by clicking that link I put into the chats, and let me know what you think. All right, so let's get to the second article tonight, because there's more. There's always more. The next one is, how big is this one? Oh, God. It's kind of big. Maybe I'll skip this one and read through it and see if it's something I can share on the shows. Here we go. All right, this is right up our avenue and kind of makes good material, especially following a Bigfoot town hall. But this is Creatures, Myths, and Legends on unexplained-mysteries.com. And this one looks interesting. Actually, at the event as well, Barbara had a pretty cool potential footprint that she found and took a photo of and showed us at the event. And it was, I mean, it's very possible that it's legit. And, maybe, Barbara, did you put that on Discord? I don't know if you did or not, but I think it'd be neat to give everybody a chance to see it. Because it looks, I mean, it's not an enormous print, but it's a very peculiar print. So, which kind of brings us to our article here. And this is from unexplained-mysteries.com. Man discovers mysterious footprints in remote Kentucky. Now, again, from the headline, if you can believe the headline, this is kind of the key that you think, well, I mean, would it be a hoax? The compelling part of a lot of these tracks is that oftentimes they're found in really out of the way, distinctly wild areas where people are incredibly rare. So if somebody was hoaxing, why would they go to a place where nobody could potentially stumble on it before it washes away? And this could be one of those things. It says remote Kentucky woodland. So again, I like that the location is there. Now also, if you look at the print, interestingly enough, there is a buildup of material right in the center, and that is we're being visited. Hello. Thanks for coming. There's a buildup of material here, which is very indicative of a mid-tarsal hinge or break, as some people call it, but I think it's more classically, it's the mid-tarsal hinge. But that's where, like, our feet flex on the ball of the feet. That's why when we take a step, you get a pile of stuff right about here. You know, we push down our toes, our foot flexes here, and then you get the buildup of material here as we push off. With Sasquatch, that hinge is actually further back on the foot, which accommodates the much bigger weight of the creature. And so that's, according to Dr. Jeff Meldrum, which I think is very valid. But the buildup is here, which would be consistent with a mid-tarsal hinge, having that buildup of material right there. So let's read what it says. The alleged Bigfoot prints appear to have been left by someone or something that wasn't wearing any shoes. This is from June 11th, so it's kind of new. The footprints, which were discovered by Aaron Thiel along a woodland track near Lexington, Kentucky, formed deep indentations in the mud and clearly showed all 5 toes. The trail was about 2 miles, and it was in and out. He wrote on Facebook, "Didn't see any people. As I was coming out of the woods on the trail, I noticed a weird footprint that had toes. I took a pick and kept walking and saw more fully formed humanoid footprints. My boot is there for comparison." Oh, I can't really see it. It's cropped off. Maybe we'll get a better look. Size 12 is his boot, I guess. It was muddy and definitely not a path to walk barefoot on. And they were fresh with no water in them, and it doesn't make sense to me. I'm 300 pounds with a size 12 boot. I barely left an imprint in the ground compared to the other print. After posting photos of the prints on social media, other users came forward to suggest that he may have found evidence of a juvenile Sasquatch. Others, meanwhile, accused him of perpetrating a hoax. God, the Bigfoot community. Ugh. It's so cutthroat. You can check out some additional photos here, or who or what do you think left the footprints? Okay, I think we're going to do that because I want to see what these additional prints are. Actually, I want to check them out. Looks like they're here. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely some toes. Let's see what else we got. There's another one. Oh, looks like looks like it stepped on a boot track there, doesn't it? It doesn't look huge, but anyway, I want to see the comparison to the boot. Again, he didn't really grab the boot. He has a foot near there, but it doesn't look like it's monstrous. Oh, it's smaller than his boot. Okay. Well, that's interesting. Huh. I don't know. There's another one. So his boot is definitely bigger than the print. But again, they don't start out 12 feet tall or 10 feet tall. They start out as little babies and work their way up. So this could be like a little toddler one or a little bigger. I don't know. I don't know how fast their feet grow in comparison to their bodies. But yeah, that's kind of cool. Could it be something else? Maybe. I mean, this is Kentucky, and there are legends of basically hill people that live kind of, I wouldn't say fairly necessarily, but they don't always, wear shoes, and I don't know what the temperature was like, so it's anybody's guess, but it looks like maybe he's casting that one, or why is there white stuff in here? Or maybe that's a reflection from what water there is. I don't know. That's curious. But anyway, there's a good print. But you do see a buildup right here, potentially. So, again, you be the judge. It's a smaller print for sure, but it does seem to have some of the hallmarks of an actual print. It is. I mean, the heel looks really wide, though. The toe splay doesn't look real wide, but I guess it's fair enough. But you be the judge. Now, apparently also Bigfoot don't really have an arch in their feet, much like we do, because, with the mid-tarsal hinge, where our arch is where their feet flex. So an arch doesn't make much sense. It wouldn't probably work real well, but that's interesting. Yeah, take from it what you will. Could it be legitimate? Sure. Could it be illegitimate? Sure. But there it is. Those are the picks as we know, and I don't know. It's tough to say. Again, it's another one of those things you'd have to talk to the person and hear their story and anything else they experienced in the woods. If these were that fresh that they were probably in the same area at the same time, maybe he had a feeling like someone was there. I don't know. It's hard to say. But anyway, it's all wild speculation at this point. But interestingly enough, cool story. And let's get to the next one. All right, and the next one is... I think I was on the one. What is this? I don't understand. Oh, how big is this one? No, this is okay. We can read it. It's from the UFO Phenomena files of unexplained-mysteries.com, and this is interesting. I'm not really sure of this word. I don't think I've ever seen this come up before, but I guess we'll find out together. This is from unexplained-mysteries.com, and the article is, UFOs may be evidence of cryptoterrestrials, scientists propose. Not sure what cryptoterrestrials are, but let's see what's going on. An out there new study has put forward the notion that UFOs are piloted by secretive, highly advanced Earth-based beings. Well, sure, that's possible. Maybe they're from Hollow Earth or Inner Earth or something like that. I don't know. The notion that UFOs might be evidence of visitors from outer space is certainly nothing new, but there is another potential explanation for the UFO phenomena that is far less widely circulated. This theory, which is the subject of a new paper by researchers from both Harvard and Montana Technology University, I was just over there, suggests that UFOs are piloted by so-called cryptoterrestrials, which are essentially a race of highly advanced beings that are actually from Earth rather than from space. These beings have allegedly been around as long as human civilization itself and choose to hide in inaccessible locations such as inside volcanoes, at the bottom of the sea, or even on the moon. The new cryptoterrestrial implies that, like the Loch Ness Monster and Bigfoot, these cryptids are entities that are unknown to science and which remain hidden from sight and evade discovery. They're also said to be in possession of advanced technology, hence their association with UFOs. According to the study's authors, there's a 10% chance of this theory being true. I wonder how in the hell you calculate that to 10%. Where do you start? Where do you start that math? I mean, really, how can you say, well, there's a 10% chance? Well, that's an arbitrary number, right? I mean, how could you possibly, with any clarity or any kind of certainty, calculate a percentage like that? I don't know. I'm a little flummoxed by that, if you will. They also admit, however, that the whole idea is a bit of a hard sell. Yeah, I'm sure in science especially. Although this idea is likely to be regarded skeptically by most scientists, such are the nature of some UAP that we argue the possibility should not be summarily dismissed, the authors wrote. Well, as things stand, there's not much in the way of evidence to support the idea that there is a race of superintelligent, Earth-dwelling humanoids flying around you in UFOs. In all likelihood, this is one theory that's going to require some pretty convincing proof in order to be taken seriously. But in the true scientific method, again, you have to allow for any eventuality or possibility until you can systematically remove it by testing or by elimination. And we can't eliminate those ideas. So they are just as valid as any other ideas. But, are people going to believe it? Well, some people, I'm sure, will be right on board with that. Going, yeah, that makes more sense to me. And maybe it does. When you consider the artifacts out of place, UPARTs, out of place artifacts and stuff like that, things that are found here that are, possibly, even millions of years old. I mean, somebody's been here doing stuff, and somehow their evidence of their existence has been almost completely wiped, other than these little artifacts that are found. So it could suggest that there is cultures that have been here a lot longer and developed alongside of us, but in secret, or at least not readily available for our observation. So anyway, cool idea. Is it true? Well, maybe time will tell. Maybe we'll never know. And does it matter? No. I mean, I do find it interesting that somebody from Harvard and the Montana University were able to even entertain the notion of this. Because usually, even though we have things like Tic Tac videos and stuff like that, we don't often get much valid discussion from scientific circles or even theories to this stuff much, other than the mention here and there on a passing news story or something. Otherwise, yeah. So I mean, at least people are thinking about this stuff, which is good, which is moving the needle forward, and I think that's a positive eventuality. So, at any rate, again, anybody's idea is just as valid as anybody else's. The problem, though, is how do you get to 10%? What kind of math did you throw at it to get to 10%? I don't understand that at all. Because, I mean, you have nothing to work with other than some sightings. Nothing. And maybe some reclaimed wreckage. Other than that, you got nothing. So, I don't know. Refreshing water. All right, let's get to the next story, because there's one more I want to cover tonight, and then we'll move on and get to some other stuff, because there's always other stuff. All right, I guess this is UFO night on the news, so I'm going to get to this one, and then we'll close out the news, but this is another UFO report. We're kind of heavy on the UFOs in the news tonight, but that's kind of the thing. I don't know, that footage out of Iran is really intriguing to me. The Cryptoterrestrials, I don't know. I mean, I don't know what to think about that. It could be, it could not be. I don't know. But anyway, let's get to this one. This is also from unexplained-mysteries.com. 2 pilots radio in to report sightings of the same UFO over Ireland. Ireland. They look at the Irish. The Irish eyes are smiling. All right, both pilots had contacted air traffic control to report that they had spotted something unusual in the sky. The incident was brought to light recently by 17-year-old aviation journalist Sean Dunn, who picked up the radio messages being exchanged by the pilots of 2 separate planes. The first pilot contacted air traffic control at around 00:30 on, that's I guess 12:30 a.m. on May 29th to report a bright unidentified object, stating, "It was there and then it went. and that it was almost like it was staying still, and then it went really quickly. A second pilot then chipped in to state that they had also witnessed the anomalous object. Both pilots ended the conversation with suitably humorous exchange. "I've never seen something amazing like that before," said one. And the next one said, "You obviously haven't seen my landings," the other replied. Clever. Good humor. "Well, how do I say this? You haven't seen mine either," the first pilot added. Afterwards, both planes continued their original destinations without further incident. So, what did they see that night that prompted them both to contact air traffic control? Sadly, we'll never know. No, that's true. But maybe somebody will interview these guys and find out. That's pretty crazy. So this guy's kind of being a internet sleuth and managed to report it. This is Sean's Aviation. I don't know. It's another Twitter thing, I guess. I guess we could play it. Why not? It's or X. Sorry, X. I got to remember that. Oh, I'm not hearing anything. Why am I not hearing anything? There we go.
Disappeared over the horizon a while ago now, but it was there and then it went.
What the hell was that?
Yeah, it really frustrated it. It was almost like it was staying.
Okay, that sucked. I can't do that. I can't do that sound quality. I feel like it's drilling my eardrums. It's like, please don't speak into a sock. Just talk into your microphone. I don't know. I don't know how he recorded it, but anyway, yeah, it's there. I'm gonna put the link in the chats. Let me do this. Put the Unexplained-Mysteries link in the chats, and you guys can check it out if you choose. Listen to the whole radio reports and see what you guys think. All right, here it is. It's in YouTube and Twitch, and I'm gonna put it over in the Mean Green Rumble machine right now. Justin Goodearth happened to pop in over there. Good to see you, brother. Thank you so much. And Digger Dog's over there and Barbara. And we got a bunch more in YouTubes. So good to see you guys. Hello to Twitch. Any of you over there on Twitch watching? God bless you. Appreciate the support. So that's the article. If you guys want to check it out, you certainly can do that. Listen to the actual radio calls and stuff yourself. But I don't know about you, but I think we're all pretty newsed up. I hope you are anyway, because that's all we're going to cover tonight. As far as news is concerned, we got a lot more to cover throughout the course of the show, of course. Of course. A horse is a horse. Of course. But anyway, let's get back to the rest of the show. Karen feels newsy. Woo! How you doing, Jaron? Good to see you, brother. Sorry. Had to do it in honor of Don. All right. Well, that was the news. Hopefully you feel more informed than you were when you got here. Maybe picked up some good tidbits and pieces of information and are willing to research beyond what we've just covered. Because this is all a quest for understanding. This whole paranormal portal thing is all just a journey of understanding. So, at any rate, hey, Brent, you too love seeing you tell us creepy stories. You know I will. It's my mission in life, Jaron, is to disturb the hell out of you. I don't know. I got some good ones coming up, which we're going to get into the next one now. How are we doing for time? Because I was way late. I'm going to go a little long tonight because I owe it to you guys for the late start due to the technical issues. So I will make it up to you on the back end. So when it gets to be 9, don't think, I got to go. Because you can stay if you want. I'd love for you to do that. And if you're brand new to the show, love to have you become subscribed and follow and click all the magical stuff, the likes. And if you're watching when it's not live, leave me a comment. I love reading your guys' comments. I read every one of them. And I don't always reply because, I don't know, my time has just been absolutely nuts lately. I've got such a pile of things to do. I just don't know how I'm going to get it all done. But I'm always working on it. So Good. Hey, friends, we're back. Yes, we are. Justin says, hey, friends, we're back. Yeah, I don't like the fact that I can't do live streams on the times when things are happening, but I don't regret going to the conferences and meeting people in person, because that really is an incredible experience. And even though it's incredibly exhausting, it is so much. I mean, my feet were just screaming. And I love talking about this stuff. But I got to tell you, after a whole day of presenting and having discussions and doing the town hall exchange between the attendees and all of us, I was all talked out. I remember going to dinner after the conference, and I was with a group of people and I was trying to be engaging, but I'll in my mind I was just like, I just want to go lay down. I just want to go curl up and just not think for a while. And honestly, I got back to my hotel room and I fell right asleep. I think I fell asleep at about maybe 8:30 or something like that, and I slept till about 2. And then I had real troubles getting back to sleep, I took a little cat nap here and there, but I think I was up completely by 3 something in the morning, and I just stayed awake until after I drove home. But anyway, cool. We need you out there more. There though, Brent. Yeah, I appreciate that, Justin. I love getting out there. I'm covered in dirt, so I may not be as chatty. Just don't get it in your keyboard. You're in your elements. Oh, thank you, Barbara. I felt like it was a fun thing. What I like about conferences, obviously we met you, but I just like the idea that there's so many people out there that have similar belief systems, and I guess they're just open to the unknown. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that is the fun part. It's extra cool when you meet people. It's like, oh, I listen to your show. I love your show. It's like, oh, wow, that just makes me glow. I'm just so happy to hear that. And then it's also just neat to exchange ideas with people and to talk about it. And a lot of the attendees of these places, these conferences and stuff, and many of you out there, you have experiences. You've seen things. You've been through things. And I love hearing those things. And I usually at conferences, I'm able to line up several interviews. This one was a smaller event. I did, say to any of them, if you got stories and want to come on, love to hear from you. But there's one gentleman that took my card and he said, yeah, I'm going to get a hold of you. So I hope he does. He was the old cowboy that walked by when I was doing the live stream, when I was out in the courtyard. He walked by once and then back again. But that guy had some really incredible stories, and he got up and talked about them at the event. So it was really cool. But I love hearing people's stories, and and it's like I was telling him. He's like, well, I just never talked about it for all these years, and it was stories. Many of them were from his childhood. He said, I just never talked about it with anybody, and he said, and I feel like it's like I should talk now, and I'm like, I'm really glad you do, because I think the big thing is with all of this is that there's a lot of people that do come forward and share their experiences. But how many more stories are out there left untold of what people have seen and experienced and been through that can maybe teach us something about this stuff that we hadn't heard before. Their unique way of observing it can show us some detail that we hadn't heard from anybody else. And everybody's story is potential to teach us about this phenomena. Because again, the whole impetus for me doing this is that I just want to try to understand what's going on, because I think this stuff is very important, incredibly important. It's not just the weirdness. It's like it's showing us something. And if we can figure that out, it could really push the needle forward for us as a worldwide community. I really believe that. I might be idealistic, but, what do you do? What do you do? Tons of stories, Brent. Yeah, exactly. Did the old cowboy have a story? Yeah, he had a bunch, Phil. He had a bunch of stories, and he did get up and talk about them. It was recorded, but I really would like to interview him, because throughout the course of that, when people were telling their stories, it wasn't really time-wise an opportunity for me to try to dig in and ask him more questions. Well, how did this look? How did that look? What did you experience here? What did you feel? The things that I like to dig in, just to try to understand that experience as much as you can. But So if I can interview him, I will definitely do that if he gets in touch with me, because that stuff is just incredible. And he was a great guy, very nice guy. There was a bunch of wonderful people there. It was a lot of fun. And some really cool prizes we got to give away too. That was a lot of fun as well. So, let's see. Oh yeah, the article. I'm thinking, what am I doing here? Who am I? What is my motivation? I remember. I've got things to read to you because that's the way we roll. And the article I want to read to you is from a site that we've used several times in the past, and we're going to use it again tonight. It's called Curiosmos, or Curiosmos, or however they exactly pronounce it. I don't know, but it's a cool title. And this article is called The Curious Case of Time Travel, Parallel Universes, and Alternate Dimensions. And what a neat title is that, right? So here we go. And again, this is curiosmos.com. This was written by, I don't know how to say this name for sure. It's either Mattia Cleric. And it was originally from October 26, 2020. It says a 4-minute read, but I'm betting it'll take me longer. When I'm reading out loud, it's always slower than reading in your head. But anyway, why is time travel so complicated? And is it even possible? Are there other universes in space, quote unquote, apart from ours? And what exactly is the meaning of alternate dimensions? How's that for a mouthful, guys? Well, we're going to dig into this. I did scan through this a little bit, and it's like it seems to have a lot of great information. The truth is, we're still not entirely sure how our reality functions, although complicated physics is doing its best to make things more understandable to the public, but nonetheless remains complicated for most to understand. The late Professor Hawking, Stephen Hawking, of course, was excellent at explaining complicated scientific subjects to the public, and many of his books have made science understandable to the masses. In this article, we'll discuss, among other things, the subject concerning parallel universes and dimensions beyond the three familiar with us, or to us, in a perhaps equally understandable way. How did we come up with the idea of higher dimensions? In modern physics, there's a great deal of trouble with unifying the theory of general relativity and the theory of quantum mechanics. General relativity explains how the force of gravity, large-scale stars, and galaxies behave, while quantum mechanics describes how small atoms and subatomic particles and three fundamental forces interact. However, it's hard to bring these theories together because each seems to have very different rules that govern the level they observe. Einstein made one of the primary efforts to solve this dilemma in the 40s by postulating string theory, which claims everything is made up of one-dimensional strings in a universe with extra dimensions. This was the first step to better understanding why large-scale objects and gravity behave differently than small particles. In the meantime, scientists developed string theory into superstring theory, which arose from the M theory. I'm not sure what M theory is, but anyway, this is all out of my pay grade. I'm just reading it. These theories have in common that they propose a reality based on 10 or 11 dimensions. Well-known physicist Michio Kaku believes this to be precisely the reality we live in. What's hidden in these higher dimensions? In the early 20th century, scientists formulated the theory of dark matter because galaxies' motions didn't match the calculations based on known gravitational theories. According to previous calculations, some galaxies would have floated apart or couldn't form in the first place. They seem tied together by some unseen matter, which makes up 85% of the universe. Some theories suggest this invisible matter exists in the extra dimensions. Are there parallel universes? According to the theory of the multiverse, a parallel universe is created where this decision plays out each time we make a personal decision. In another parallel universe, we might have made a different decision with different consequences. And this also seems to be the case with quantum particles making arbitrary decisions under scientific observation. Not only is it possible that there's an almost There's another almost identical universe to ours where the particle acted differently than here, but it's also possible such parallel universes are interacting with our own. So they're there and they might be influencing us in some ways that we can't figure out. Where are these extra dimensions and parallel universes? Understanding the interactions of a 4-dimension hypercube will be difficult for the layman. It might be easier to explain the 11 dimensions in the following way. As humans, we are trapped in 3 spatial dimensions, plus the 4th time dimension we call time a line in the 4th dimension. We move from dot to dot on this line in a single forward direction from one moment to the next. We can move through 3D spaces more or less than we wish, but we can't do so through the 4th dimension. If we could hypothetically be in the 5th dimension, then time, the line, and all of its moments or dots would become as freely movable space to us. We could go forward into the future and backward into the past as we wish. Did you hear my stomach? It went. In the 5th dimension, we might see our entire life's timeline from birth to passing away all at once in front of us, just as if it were a spatial effect or object. If we hypothetically looked at things from the 6th dimension, we would see all different possible timelines of events in our universe as a single space across which we could travel. I'm almost getting a headache. In the 7th dimension, we could go to a universe with a different set of physical laws. In the 8th, we could travel between all such possible universes. And in the 9th, we navigate between all possible timelines in all possible universes. Finally, the 10th, all possibilities would exist, even things seemingly impossible in our universes. That makes sense. So the question is, will we ever be able to travel to these extra dimensions? One of the most exciting things in the universe is our brain. It's a tool that helps us to keep track of past events, to calculate future happenings, and support our logical decision making in the present. Though through our imagination, our brain tries to visualize possible timelines in case we make different decisions. We may even imagine a universe with different physical constants. In a way, our brain helps us to imagine higher dimensions. That's an interesting take. Okay. So the power of imagination. Perhaps developing technology will make navigating through parallel universes a bit easier. It's also a scary proposition, though, isn't it? What if we could just go through different universes? I'm going to the one where I'm rich. Hell yeah. According to John D. Barrow's revised Kardashev scale, measuring the developmental phases of civilization are as follows. Type 1, capable of building structures harnessing the energy of its planet. Types 2 and 3, manipulating genes and molecules, uses the energy of stars and galaxies. Type 4, 5, and 6, manipulating atoms, quarks, creating complex artificial life and harnessing the energy of the entire universe. And finally, type Omega, capable of manipulating the multiverse, space, and time. Yeah, wow. The Omega is like, ooh, that's like God level. Is there any civilization in our universe that managed to become type Omega? Wow. How would we know? The strange thing is that over 40 billion planets in our galaxy alone could support life. As per astrophysicists, in the last 50 years, we've made serious efforts to try to pick up any radio or communication signal from an advanced civilization, but to no avail. So far, there seems to be no trace of any highly technological species whatsoever, as scientists Enrico Fermi famously asked, "Where is everybody?" Good question. Ancient civilizations often told stories about immortal, intelligent deities such as gods and angels who seemed outside the dimension of time, traveling through space instantaneously and assuming shapes according to their wishes. They are even said to have created humans, and could this be a written record of type Omega civilization that mastered the multiverse and the creation of complex artificial life? We may never know. How does that cook your bacon, folks? Woo, that's a lot of food for thought. And it's a very brief article, but I think he did a great job breaking down those concepts, at least to in a fundamental way. I mean, there's obviously so much more to all of this, but what if? It's pretty compelling stuff, but it really does when you start thinking of things to that level. I don't know, it sometimes seems like, well, is AI us kind of bridging ahead and creating that artificial intelligence, whereas we're still kind of a type 1, but doing some type 5, 6 stuff. It's pretty weird. It kind of seems like we're all over the map as far as this Kardashev scale is concerned, because some things we're doing that maybe we're obviously not ready for, but we're doing it anyway.
Coralie.
What are you saying? Coralie. 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 I don't know what that means. I'm not familiar with that word, but Coralie just spit out of the Ghost app, so anybody know what that means? Could just be a name, but it's in small letters. I guess we should just Google it. What the hell's Coralie? What is Coralie? Coralie, a French feminine given name meaning coral, derived from a Latin word corallium. Meaning of the name Coralie is a popular 19th century jewel name from the name of the pink semi-precious sea growth used to make jewelry and ornaments. Oh, I guess coral. Yeah, coral being part of the root there. Okay. Well, anybody looking for baby names, Coralie is on the table, because that's what Google says. It's baby name. Come here, Coralie. But very interesting. But that's spelled L-I-E, which is weird. I don't know why. It's not capitalized on there. You'd think if it was a name, it would be capitalized, but it's not. It's all small font, or small case, lowercase is what I meant. Not the size of the font. But anyway, there you go. I don't know. I think this stuff is incredibly interesting. I would love to understand this more, because I think many of the things they're talking about, especially time, I do really firmly believe that all moments in time, history, and far into the distant future are just all happening in this one now. It's just our awareness that moves through, and we perceive that movement of awareness as time. But in actuality, everything from the proverbial big bang to the eventually implosion of the universe is happening all right now, and everything in between. And it's kind of a bizarre thing to think of, because it seems to imply, I don't know, predestination, because what's the use? It's already done. But I think it's not so much that the beginning and the end is there. It's just what we do with the in-betweens. Because I think through choices, we do move through a multiverse of in a sense, like, if you make a good choice, you create a good life. But in the multiverse, there's a version that's made bad choices, and then you have a crappy life, And so I think that stuff is very valid and real. But all of those things are happening in the now. But it's our awareness that chooses. It's kind of like the what's the name of those books where you read through them and then you decide, oh, I make this choice here, now move to chapter this and start reading. And that's kind of what life is like, I think. But all of the eventualities are in the book. All of them are right there. And you just got to make the choices to see what is the story. And then when you're done, you can go back and make the bad choices and see what the story is. And so I think life is really similar to that in a lot of ways. But anyway, that's just my 2 cents, whatever the hell that's worth. But it's what I think. Yeah. All right, so let's see what's going on in the chats. You guys have been busy, and I've been reading a lot. So Justin sounded like Coraline. What did? There's so much to discover, I think, about these things that I need to lay down. Yeah, sounded like Coraline. It did. But it does say Coralie. Coralie or Coralie. I don't know. Yeah, Choose Your Adventure. That's the name I was looking for, Rachel. Chat's right. The Goosebumps book had a series where you could choose your route by skipping chapters. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't ever read Goosebumps, but I watched some of their videos they made. Choose your adventure books. They're awesome. Yeah, and I think that's life. I think we do, we kind of do choose our adventure. That's kind of maybe a parable to life in a lot of ways. Just try to choose the right adventure is all I'm saying, because through our independent choices, I think we do chart the course for the rest of our journey. And it can be something as stupid as, do I want to eat that donut or should I grab a carrot instead? And it seems like a inane choice to worry about, but everything we do has ramifications to our future experience, and so, hey, you know what, I'm going to eat the carrot because I don't want diabetes later, or I'm going to drink less Coke, that kind of thing, which is one of them that I should have made. Anyway, I think that's life. I think life is a choose your adventure book. So, Mr. Water Bottle Van Halen. That's right, man. I did a huge solo at the beginning of the show, and I did that for you. Just so you know. That's right. I'm a virtuoso of the water bottle. Carrot cake donut. Ooh, that's cheating, Phil. You can't have it both ways. It's either good for you or it's not. And carrot cake, even though it's delicious, probably not the best version of you. I'm just saying. But yeah, I think it's interesting stuff. Coeur d'Alene is a town that's near here. I live about 45 minutes north of there, but it's in the north of Idaho, and it's actually Coeur, like it's spelled D and then it's Alene, but yeah, Coeur d'Alene is how it's pronounced, and that does sound like Coralie, but I mean, maybe the Ghost Box just gave us the closest approximation. Maybe they were saying Coeur d'Alene. I don't know what that means though. I have no idea the relevancy for either the name Coralie or Coeur d'Alene at this point. But I don't know. Maybe it means something to some of you. Or somebody out there knows a Coralie. I don't know. It's kind of a pretty name now that I think about it. It's just never heard it before. Coralie? I think of Coraline, that movie where the girl goes through that weird tunnel and there's the spider lady that rips out people's eyes and puts buttons in the place. Ugh. Creepy. Do you think everyone we meet on this earth or life that's an acquaintance or closer, it's going to be around us forever? I think that's probably everyone we experience in our life is probably, there's a saying, and I don't pretend to know for sure, but it's called like a soul family. Like everybody you experience, both the good and the bad, are doing what they're doing because they're meant to bring you to some understanding. And they could be other personalities we knew if there is like a formation period before being born, in this time around, I'm going to learn this. If there is reincarnation or whatever, maybe we plot our course. Like these are the things I really want to learn this time around. And so we draw in those people that are going to bring us those lessons. And some of those lessons are so painful, but yeah, I think it's very possible. Yeah, of course I understand you. I speak fluent Jaren. Absolutely. No, you're kindred spirit, brother. Of course I understand you. Anyway, I think so too. Interesting. Yeah, I think we're on a path. It's dyslexic ghost. Could have meant Coeur d'Alene. It's just a Coralie, just a bad speller. Never know. But at any rate, that was the article. I think it's interesting, and it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to try to process and, to understand and conceptualize. And like I said, most of it's well out of my pay range. Do the people we meet in life materialize so we can meet them? Like, does our contract bring them into existence just because we met them, like SMS? Well, I think most people actually do exist on their own. I don't think it's us creating them or maybe, I don't know. I mean, God, it gets so deep. It's hard to cover in a paranormal show what I think, but I think that we're probably, life is maybe like a school, and we're all in different classes. There's kindergarten, and then there's graduating college, sort of school levels, like, and so we probably are in a class where we, have people that might be along a similar path, or at least exploring similar options in their existence in maybe this esoteric way of thinking. And so they're like a soul family, if that's the case. And that can be good and that can be bad. I mean, we often really grab onto the experience of living in these bodies. And it's hard to remember that we're driving these. These are like our cars, and we get so attached to the representation of these bodies, but the soul is independent of that. Although I think our souls manifest our bodies. I think that's, the physical can become a mirror of the spiritual and so forth. And our the state of our soul can definitely reflect on our physical health. I mean, it's as fundamentally as, stress, high blood pressure, that kind of stuff too. Much more serious conditions can be manifest through us. And, it's hard to understand it all. I mean, it's a very deep subject, but I think that we bring along the people that are meant to teach us, and we bring them into our experience and they bring us into theirs, because we have unified lessons, maybe. I don't know. I mean, it's all just speculation, and I don't mean to impose my beliefs on all of you. And you guys some of you out there might be like, oh God, this guy has just sold the plot or lost the plot, whatever that saying is. Maybe you're right. But I not only try to understand the paranormal, but I try to understand what is the meaning of all of this, because I do believe in, higher power. I believe that, we are watched and guided and assisted and loved but all of this is for something. It's not just, hey, I'm alive and no, I'm not. I mean, there's a whole importance to all of this, incredible importance. And so the same rationales that I put towards the paranormal, I put towards philosophy, towards living and trying to live my best life, become the best me that I can, because I think it's important. So anyway, sorry, I don't want to get on a huge soapbox about this, but yeah, it's all interesting stuff. I gave her some as a theory on the subject. Out-of-body experience are so wild, I don't need a body to walk around the room. Yeah, that's true. Very true. We are not our bodies, but the body is a reflection of the soul, if that makes sense. I think the body is like a pile of clay, and we get to mold it. And we mold it through, very fundamental ways, like what do we eat and drink? How do we live? Do you get enough exercise? All that stuff, as well as, are you a nice person? Are you getting, health issues due to the state of your soul? And, I don't mean to imply that people with health issues have, spiritual issues as well. I don't mean to imply that at all. That's way, way overly simplistic. But I do think that, we are the light in the temple. The temple is not the light in us, so to speak. So anyway, Brent and the Portal community are fab. Thanks, Maggie. You're part of that community, so you're fab too. Next story is a Dogman one. See if my psychic stuff is working. I do have at least some cryptid canine stuff coming up, but I guess we should probably start thinking about getting to that, because there's, God, we're already at 8:30. I got several cryptid stories to read to you guys. I think we'll go till about 9:15 tonight, because I was late. We need you out there more. Oh yeah, I already read that. Okay. I wonder if I should do some shout outs for YouTube as well. I'm really apologize. I don't try to insert myself so much into the shows. And I apologize for running my lips so much about my beliefs and stuff. I don't know. I don't know if you guys want to hear that stuff or not. I mean, it's really not generally the scope of the show, but I'm just sharing my thoughts because we are a family. Shout outs. Eek. John. Let's get it. All right. So let me do some shout outs here on YouTube. So far, excuse me. We got Barbara Mora and Justin Goodearth over on and Digger Dogs over there, and as is Yoholo. Well, there you go, Yoholo. I'm not not going to read what he said over in Rumble, but yeah, might want to see a doctor about that. Is all I'm going to say. That's a little disturbing. On Twitch, what's going on over there? I'm there, and Lucky Gypsy's there is what I see for the chatting. So I don't see a lot going on there for the chat. That's okay. You know, I still like streaming to Twitch, even though it's not a real active platform. It's almost not active, but I just like putting it out there. Yodel. What's yodel? Yodeling? Cat Doherty's listening. Okay, well, let me get to who's on YouTube's, and we'll find out. Let me pop out this chat first. And then I'll go to the participants, and we'll find out just who is over there. All right, let's see who's over there. Annie Manul is there. Barbara Mora is there as well. David Lloyd Barnes. Oh, David Barnes. How you doing, brother? Eric Fry is over there. Grumpy Owl is over there. Jaron Daniels. John Stevenson. Karen Alberding. Cat Doherty. Kitty Cattywhack is over there. Maggie is over there. I'm there. Philip Blair is there. Rachel Gets It Right. SoCal Squatcher and Wizard Moon. So good to see you guys. Anybody else? You got moments. Mere moments. Share away, Brent Thomas. Without you, there is KO. What's KO? I don't know if I understand that. Good to see you, David. It's awesome to see you, brother. Appreciate that. So it's great to see everybody. Thank you guys, those of you that are chatting. And there's more. There's more of you that aren't chatting. Is no Paranormal Portal. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Sorry, I wasn't catching that. I'm a little slow sometimes. Wait a second. How do I pop this back in? Oh, I got to go back over here. That's right. I remember now. So, as I promised, Lucky Gypsy, yeah, kind of not digging how Twitch kind of changed things. Those pop-ups with a live video of somebody I don't follow. And now I can't even see who popped on to check out Paranormal Portal. Normally I can see people. Oh, really? I don't know. It's hard to keep up with each platform and what they're doing and how to work around it, but I appreciate you over there, Lucky Gypsy. Thank you. Good evening, folks. Chucky Danger. 10 demerits. You missed most of the show, but that's okay. Yeah, I started late anyway, Chucky. You didn't miss as much as you think. But we're just about to get into the cryptids now, and I guess we'll just dig right the hell into it. So let me do this, and let me do this. That there is so pretty. That is so pretty. Thank you, Grumpy Owl, for putting that up. I appreciate that. It just really is nice. I love when you guys send things in. Hey, here's something you might want to use for the show. And I try to use all of it if I can. I know that I got some things from Unknown that I haven't used yet, but Unknown has built some beautiful things as well. But I've always wanted to do that. I always wanted that intro, transition into the cryptid corner because we use it every show, and I never got around to it. And then Grumpy Owl reached out and said, "Hey, I want to do something for the show." And I'm like, "Hey, I got a job for you." And she did brilliantly. So thank you. I love the fishing rods, freaking rakes, scariest to me of all cryptids. Yeah, rakes are freaky. Skinwalker and Dogman too. Yeah, I don't know, man. Cryptids are a tough thing to understand because, I mean, with most ghosts and UFOs, it's like generally they're just kind of doing their thing. Mostly. Sometimes they interact with you, sometimes they don't. With cryptids, you don't know if you're on the menu or they're just going to just kind of ignore you. I mean, it could be everything in between. So that's the creepy part about cryptids is that they at least seem to be very physical, very present, are observed eating, leaving prints, all this physical stuff. So at least they seem to have a physical presence, even if they're not always physical. But, are we on the menu? That's the part I don't know. And that's also creepy because it's, the unknown is already weird enough, but then to think, well, not only is it unknown, but we might be on the unknown menu. So that's a creepy thought. Would love to go to co-host with you one day. or be a mod. Well, you can always be a mod. I mean, we have wonderful mods, and I'm not opposed to having more mods. I just don't want it to be a mod room instead of a chat room. But yeah, David, I appreciate that, brother. I appreciate that. So yeah, we'll talk and see what we can do. But you've been with me for a long time, Dave. I appreciate it, brother. All right, Wendigo and Wetiko are scary too. Yeah, that's a really freaky concept, the whole Wendigo concept. But we're going to start out with some Bigfoot and stuff, because we're going to start out on Sasquatch Chronicles tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and dig into that. And I got the summer sweats coming now. It's awesome. I love summer. So, I mean, I'm sitting here in my studio, and I can't run any fans or anything because it just gets so loud, but it gets pretty warm in here. It gets pretty warm. And in the dead of summer, it's going to get real warm. Don and I would often get done with a show, and we'd be just like soaked. I mean, we could run a fan and just say, hey, we got to run a fan because we're dying in here. And I do have one fan that I run under my desk, but Don's often over there sweating all by himself. So anyway, let's get to the cryptids and talk about some of this. First off, as I said, we're going to start on SasquatchChronicles.com. And, of course, this is Wes's site, the companion site to Sasquatch Chronicles, the podcast. And this is where you go to read and learn a lot more of things that Wes is posting. He does a marvelous job keeping it real current. And it's also where you go to be a member of Sasquatch Chronicles and get an extra episode every week. The members episodes. And he's got some other projects he's putting together too, which should be pretty amazing. So they're all in the works. The world is full of strange things that exist beyond the paradigm of society. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's why this stuff is wonderful. Wes's new segment, After Dark, should be pretty interesting. Yeah, that's what it's called, After Dark. I think it's going to be Chronicles After Dark. It might just be After Dark. I know originally when he was planning it, it was going to be Chronicles After Dark. But yeah, it should be an amazing extra draw for checking out Wes and seeing what he's up to. Okay, so let's get into this Sasquatch Chronicles. This article comes from June 10th, which is 2 days old. It says, "It looked at me." A listener writes, "It was 1977 or 78 in late summer. And I've never been a big hunter, but I've always loved walking in the woods and creeks looking for rock and crystals." I like this person already. I love collecting rocks. I always walk along beaches and stuff, and that's a cool one. My pockets are like huge by the time I'm done on a hike. I was less than a half a mile from my house walking with my two dogs up a small creek in a highly dissected terrain. Molly was the smartest dog I've ever known, half Australian shepherd or sheepdog and half collie. Her son Smokey, excuse me, was twice her weight and dumb as a rock. Gotta wonder what other breed Smokey was then. There's some dogs that are just brilliant, and it can even be the same breed. And then there's other dogs of that same breed that are just bricks. I mean, they're just dense as hell. It's funny because you're kind of rolling the dice every time you get a dog. It's like, which one am I getting? Especially when they're young. But yeah, I mean, God, Australian Shepherds are so smart. All of a sudden, both dogs froze and started growling very low, their tails between their legs, and I tried to walk around Molly, but she would not let me. I heard bipedal steps in front of me, and I looked up and saw the head and shoulders of something very hairy and very large in the next gully leading down to the creek. It looked at me, and I thought that it would be better to just walk away. My dog stayed behind me, and even Smokey didn't get stupid and charge. Molly would not let him. I felt safe with them at my back at the time. I just felt it was best to walk away, but when I got home that night and went to sleep, I had nightmares. Yeah, I'll bet. That's a hell of an imprint mentally to have. You're going to be processing that for a while. I felt like there was a group of these things watching the house, and every night for weeks, I closed every curtain and every blind and every window. And my mom said, "What's up?" I never explained it to her. But after about a month, it was over, and I never saw anything again. I also went back to where I'd seen the thing the next day. And when I went to the gully where the thing had been standing, it had to have been over 8 feet tall for me to see the shoulders and the head. Your podcast has cleared up a lot of things for me, and I love what you're doing. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. That's the cool part about these shows is that, and this is something I was saying at the town hall as well in Kalispell, is that the power of the witnesses is not only to share what a person has seen, but it also really has a perpetuating effect, because people that hear witness testimonies, they go, "Oh man, that's like what happened to me," and it triggers them to want to go, "Hey, I'm not alone. I can talk about this. This person talked about it, and that was cool, and I want to share what I saw too." And so it really is kind of really self-perpetuating, and it just takes one person. It's kind of like the dance floor at the school dance. It's just vacant, and the people are standing around in their groups because nobody wants to be the first person to dance. But then somebody just goes, "Screw it, I'm going to dance." And then more people decide, "Yeah, you know what, screw it, let's go dance." And then before you know it, the dance floor is full of people. But nobody wants to be that first person. But once somebody does, it really does have an incredible effect of encouraging other people to tell their stories. And that's, again, one of the biggest tragedies of these paranormal events is how many of these will go unshared and undiscussed. And to me, that's a tragedy. It's kind of like I often thought it'd be neat to just go through nursing homes and talk to some of these elderly residents, talk to them about the world that they experienced and how things were just amazing and how life changed throughout the course of their lifetimes, and just record that, because that perspective is being lost now. I mean, it's already almost impossible to talk to any like World War II veterans and people that experienced life at that time, because most of that generation is now gone or is nearly gone. And that's sad to me, but because we can learn something from everybody, and everybody has a story and an experience. So, it's same is true for the paranormal. I mean, how many people have seen things that they've never reported, and maybe they saw something nobody has ever seen before, and they could bring understanding and bring knowledge to the discussion. And so that's why I love things like this. This person was dealing with this for their life, but then they found Sasquatch Chronicles, and it could have been, Wes does an exceptional job, of course. But it could have been any show, as long as they listened and were like, "Oh, I should tell my story." And then they were moved enough to write in and share that. I'm a nurse. For me, I am a nurse for me. Jason Jones says, "What's your most of them have dementia, so you don't get much information as days?" Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, that's the sad part is, a lot of them can't share their stories anymore. So that's why I'm encouraged by the fact, that in our modern world, we're having these discussions, so that this generation and former generations that are still operating at their full capacity can go, "Hey, this is what I experienced," And that's why I love doing this, because at the very least, as long as I'm doing these shows and like the podcast, especially where I speak to witnesses, it's out there now and people can hear it. And it really does cause emails. "Hey, I was listening to so-and-so's interview on your show, and I got a great story, and I experienced this," and they'll write me. And sometimes if it's just a small story, it's like, "Oh, wow, that's fascinating. And thank you so much for sharing." But if it's a whole chain of stories, it'd be like, "Hey, well, would you be willing to come on? I'd love to talk to you and have you share your stories." So it's really an incredible honor to do this. So very cool. Yep, it's true. This generation I am from have more courage regarding the fringe. Well, it's, I don't, it's a good point. I think it is always courageous to tell your story, but I think now more than ever, it's just more normal for people to have ghost stories and have Bigfoot stories and UFO stories, because there was enough people before that started having the discussion. For Bigfoot, I think the big thing was, I know the show took a lot of shots. A lot of people were brutally critical of the show. But finding Bigfoot for me was, there was other shows before it, like Unsolved Mysteries and In Search Of and stuff that mentioned a lot of this weirdness, and several other shows too, don't get me wrong, and ghost shows for that matter too. But for the Bigfoot phenomena, it was finding Bigfoot for me was really a pinnacle moment in the discussion about cryptozoology and Bigfoot in specifically, because they were going out there, and my favorite part of the shows was not when they were out in the woods, but when they did their town halls, and they would have people get up and say, well, this is what we experienced. And I loved that part, because it was like, well, these are the people that were there. And sometimes some of the stories were like, oh, maybe you saw that. You don't know. But I think a lot of people tuned into that, and they saw that, and they heard that, and they became interested in looking into the phenomena and discussing the phenomena. So I think that's a very powerful thing. So, for all the criticisms that Finding Bigfoot took, we wouldn't be where we are today without them, in my opinion. Without that show and what they were doing, I don't think as many people would be even really aware to entertain the idea of Bigfoot, and B, able to go out there and look and see what they can find. I think it spurned a lot of interest, and it spurned a lot of openness from experiencers. So I think that was really a pivotal moment. So glad his generation wrote books. Ron Moorhead's book, Before I Searched for Communities. I read Ron's book. Yeah, Ron's a great guy. Until they would belittle the people who saw the woo. That was BS. Well, yeah, I understand. You got to understand as well that, I've talked with Cliff, I've talked with Bobo, and both of those guys are really in the physical camp, and it was their show, So you're getting the experiences through their lens, and what they were, willing to dive into and what they weren't. As kind of a breakthrough show, it probably wasn't the platform or the time to get into phasing Bigfoot and all that stuff. And my reason for saying that is in 2010, Stephen Greer had a collection of people come to the Washington Press Club and talk to a bunch of senators. These were different experiencers and stuff. And I watched a bunch of it, and I thought it was going really swimmingly. Here was this group of senators. I was like, wait, what? This is going on? And they became intrigued, and they became seemingly motivated to dig into it. And it was at that point, towards the end of the presentation that I saw, that Paul Hellyer, the former Ministry of Defense official from Canada, got up. Now, Paul Hellyer was a fantastic guy. I didn't know him, and I applaud him for getting up and saying what he did, but I'm not sure that was the forum where he should have done it, because all of these officials had just heard stories and testimonials of people witnessing, experiencing, seeing everything from all these weird experiences to recovered craft to suppressed energy to all of this. And they were like, whoa, this is big. And then Paul Hellyer got up there and said, not only are aliens here, but there's like 12 or 14 different kinds that are living amongst us and could be your neighbor, kind of thing. And it was just at that moment I was like, oh, too soon. Too soon. Now, I'm not saying what Paul was saying was wrong, Paul Hellyer, and God rest his soul, and I'm not trying to be critical. But I just think at that moment, that probably wasn't the right moment to go all the way to the end zone. It probably would have been just good to hit the first down, and then in time work towards the end zone, work towards pushing the narrative. So I think it's got to be scaled, because you're already shattering people's paradigms by bringing up, hey, there's UFOs and these people have seen it and this is what they witnessed and saw it firsthand. And it's like, oh, wait, this is a bigger picture than I was aware of. But then to go to, aliens are here and there's like 14 different kinds here. Okay, well now it just went too far. And that's my own personal take. And some of you might be going, oh, you're an idiot. And maybe you're right. Maybe I'm wrong in saying that. But it just felt like you don't want to push people all the way to every extreme possibility until you've at least warmed their feet in the water of the possibility of the event. And then you build on it from there. And it's just, you can't just open the drapes and say, there it all is. Because people aren't ready for that. They're not ready for everything yet, but they're ready at least to take the next step. And so I think that, for finding Bigfoot, they were establishing the idea that, look, there's some undiscovered primate or hominid type cryptid out there. And it's real. People are having experiences and stuff. And so they weren't quite, and maybe it was personal, but maybe it was more strategic than that. Maybe they just weren't willing to explore that. But I know, Cliff is very much a physical thing. Bigfoot is a very physical thing. He's in the physical creature camp. He's not in the woo camp with it. And it doesn't mean he's right. It doesn't mean he's wrong. But that's where he's at. And I know Bobo's very much the same way. So that's just not part of their paradigm. And it was their platform. So they can do with it what they will. But at least they got us talking. You got it, esoteric G. Weigh it all out. Yeah, esoteric Godfather. So, yeah, jumping straight into the deep end. Yeah, exactly, Phil. I mean, it's like you don't teach a kid by throwing him into the deep end and going, okay, just kick, you'll do it. I mean, you take him into the wading pool, you let him splash and get an idea for the water, and then you work up to, diving down and getting the ring at the bottom of the deep end. Yeah, I respect Cliff and his side. I just wish he would be a little more open to some of that, but that's just my opinion. And it's fair enough. I mean, it's fair enough. Bobo seems to be open to the woo. I mean, maybe there's a discussion he's had since I talked to him, but as far as I know, he's pretty well grounded in it's a very physical being. It's just undiscovered. So throw them into the waterfall, yeah. Yeah, exactly. You might start with a sprinkler first. This is water. And then you get them to the scuba part. But you don't start them out with flippers and diving, So I want answers not to be coddled. Yeah. I mean, but Dean Harrison is not woo. No, he's not. I will say that, in talking with Dean, I think he's seen some very unexplainable things. It's just, I mean, that's just not where he's at with it, and that's fine. I don't pretend to know anything, whether there is deep woo to it or not. I just don't know. I've heard, thousands of stories throughout the years of covering this stuff, and before I ever had a show, I was digging deep into this stuff, and there's some claims out there that I think are possible, plausible, and there are others that I just can't get my head around. I just can't get there yet. And that's not me saying it's not possible. It's just, I don't know how to discuss that because I don't even know how to quantify it in my brain. But I know they're out there. I know the claims are out there. So that's the part of the cryptids that, and honestly, it's an open field. Everybody throws in their ideas. And like I say, every idea is just as plausible as any others until we can actually disprove it. But I guess the biggest thing that I take issue with personally is people making absolute claims. Well, this is what they are. How can you know that? You might have seen something that seems to imply that. But are you absolutely beyond a shadow of a doubt sure that you can explain the nature of it? There's a lot of people out there, claiming that they have all the scoop and, pay attention to them. Again, the Bigfoot community is incredibly cutthroat, and they could be right. Again, I'm not saying that it's absolutely wrong or right or otherwise. I'm just saying I'm suspending judgment on some of it just because I don't know what to do with it. That's my paradigm, and that's okay. I mean, I don't have all the answers. I just have a lot of questions. So Bobo, well, I mean, he's actually, Bobo is incredibly smart. I know he comes off as like a surfer dude and seems real flippant and carefree, but that guy is incredibly smart. You'd be blown away with how intelligent he is, honestly, and his recall is just impeccable. So it's easy to dismiss Bobo, but if you've never really talked to him, and I'm not being critical, David, so please don't take it that way, but I mean, honestly, that guy is really smart. He is incredibly smart and very well thought out, and he knows his stuff. Yeah. Like Dr. B is saying, you could be right. Yeah, you could be right. Dr. B's. Who's B? Dr. B. Who's that, SoCal? I'm not sure. Oh, Bindernagel? Yeah, maybe Bindernagel? Okay. I think you mean Bobo. Or do you mean Bono from U2 or Bobo from Finding Bigfoot, David? Bobo was James Fay. Yeah. David Pilates is a great interview with Bobo. Yeah, I saw that, SoCal. That was really good. Again, I don't mean to speak on Bobo's behalf or anybody's behalf. It's just, I have had discussions with Cliff about it, and Cliff is another guy that's incredibly well researched, and he really does know this stuff pretty well. But with anything, the true scientific method, again, I'm going to repeat this over and over, is to accept all eventualities, all possibilities until you can systematically remove them. We can't systematically remove any of them, so they're all valid, and that's what I like to... Bono, damn it. Bono is U2. Sunday, bloody Sunday. All right, Bobo. There you go. All right, there you go. All right, so that was the first article, and I went back on the soapbox again. But I think these discussions are valuable because, we're digging into this, and it's you guys and I feel, dig into this stuff a lot deeper. In the name of love. There you go, Jaron. That was a good one. Yep. All right, so let's go to the next one. That was a good first article. Let's go to the next one. This one's also from Sasquatch Chronicles blog, and this is from June 7th. This is an upcoming show. I think this is now a member show, so if you're not a member, you won't be able to listen to this in its full version. But I'll read you this, and you can not only see what happened, but you can see why it would be important to be a member if you want to be. All right, upcoming show. We locked eyes for 5 to 10 seconds. A listener writes, I'm 30 years old and had an incredible encounter with the Sasquatch when I was 13. Very few people, only those closest to me, have heard what happened, but I recently got into a relationship where my girlfriend has encouraged me to talk about it. That's a good relationship. Absolutely. Again, the power of sharing this stuff. And it's actually very therapeutic for the person sharing because they don't feel like they can. I used to be a big fan of Bono. Feel very betrayed now. Well, politics aside, I mean, they are a very talented band of musicians. I just, I'm not left, right, or either as far as that's concerned. I consider myself very moderate in a lot of ways. But I will tell you that I quit caring what any celebrities or musicians or entertainers had to think about anything other than enjoying what they've done. So this whole idea of taking your cues from celebrities is like, oh, don't do that. Make up your own mind based on what you can research and look into, but don't listen to these talking heads about anything on any side of the aisle. Come to your own conclusions based on what you look into yourself. Don't take just talking points or anything because everything is being spun right now on both sides of the aisle, and it's just maddening. So don't shape your ideas of the world based on Hollywood or entertainment or anything. Just come to your own conclusions. Most of these people God bless them, but they're pretending to be other people. You don't know them. You don't really know them at all. They are just pretending to be people, and people equate that a lot of times with who they actually are. Now, maybe some of their self comes through their characters or whatever. That's fine. But just because somebody plays a really smart, well-grounded and intelligent person doesn't mean that it's a really smart, well-grounded, intelligent person. They're usually all over the map. So they pretend for a reason. They make a killing at it. Don't get me wrong. I'm envious that they get to pretend stuff and get very well paid and get to see the world. But yeah, these are not leaders in most cases. That's my 2 cents for what it's worth. So anyway, he says, I'm 30 years old. I had an incredible encounter with a Sasquatch when I was 13. Very few people, only the closest to me, have heard what happened, but I recently got into a relationship where my girlfriend has encouraged me to talk about it. So I found your channel and some others and just listened to what other people have experienced, and it's honestly been very therapeutic. There it is, right there in print. Yep, it is very therapeutic. If you've got experiences and you start listening to these shows and all the various shows out there, it'll really help to bring about healing and help to repair trauma in a huge way. So the short version was that I was on a particular day in March 2006. I get home from school and immediately grab my fishing rods to go out to a nearby creek. This creek was on the back side of our property, about 50 yards into a thick tree line, which opened up to a large forest on the other side. I might have read this last show, the original, but anyway, we're reading it again. As I crossed the fence to make my way to the woods, about 150 yards to the left of me, I hear an animal bolting to run in my direction. I've been an outdoorsman my entire life, so it's nothing unusual, and at the time, I just thought it was a deer. But within seconds, I realized that whatever is moving through the trees is literally tearing the forest apart. 3 trees, roughly 6 inches across, just snapped. And I mean, it was literally like a bulldozer. Long story short, this what I could only recognize as a beast comes to the edge of the tree line, maybe 25 feet away from me. And we lock eyes for 5 to 10 seconds. Wes, let me tell you, I have never experienced a fear of that magnitude. I couldn't breathe, and I was frozen in place. My heart was beating so hard that my peripheral vision was going black with each heartbeat. I didn't know what Sasquatch was at the time, but I am absolutely certain of what I laid my eyes on. It was not a bear or any other creature I knew to exist. I can give much more detail on the story and to the creature, but I just wanted to finally reach out and share. So that is now a show, I think. Yeah, I think it's a member show now. But very cool, and I'd love to hear the whole of that experience. I haven't listened to it yet because I'm just catching up with life, but at least I'm trying to. But very, very cool story. Very powerful as well. Is that this one? Yeah, that was this one. What was this one? Oh, this one. This is the event that's coming up in Pocatello. This is the one that I'm going to. It's a 2-day event. It's 2024 Bigfoot Rendezvous. A group of Sasquatch enthusiasts gather in Pocatello, Idaho on July 26th and 27th at the Westwood Mall, 1800 Garrett Way, Pocatello, Idaho. And Dr. Jeff Meldrum is the guest speaker there. The keynote speaker, as it were. Mark Mersell is speaking there. Michael Freeman. And he's the son of Paul Freeman of the Freeman footage. Mike's a great guy, too. I've met him a few times. Just a wonderful person. Really enjoy him. And he's going to come onto the podcast at some point, too. If we can ever coordinate. We've been trying for months and months, but he's got a busy life. Nico Spadafora is also going to be there, and David Ellis. The tickets right now, if you're going to be there, I'm not promoting this in any way, but I'm going to be there, and it'd be great if you guys had some notice and could make it, because I love meeting you guys when you can be there. The ticket prices are $30 for both days or $45 to include a commemorative t-shirt. Get them now. Ticket prices will go up to $40 at the door and t-shirts to $25. So for more information, go to sasquatchprints.com and look for the 2024 Bigfoot Rendezvous. But there you go. I will be there. The booth will be there. I'll be meeting and greeting and talking to you guys. So hopefully introducing more people to the show. If you want more information, 208-251-2005 for more information there. But that's Pocatello, Idaho. So that's down by Boise in the southern part of the state. But very cool. I don't know if it's by Boise, but it's in the southern part of the state. I should say that. I'm very geographically challenged, so I don't know where the hell I am as much. I'd love to come and meet up, Brent. Yeah, for sure, SoCal. Come on up. Either that or go to Vernal.
Reason.
Reason? Yeah, there's reason for you to come so that we can connect. Absolutely, SoCal. If you can't make that one, Vernal, Utah in September is the next one after that I know I'm going to. But we'll see. If anything else pops up, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But those are the ones that I have planned currently. And yeah, I'm going to get to as many as I can. I just realized that these events are important for the future of the shows. I'd love to just sit here at home and just turn on the camera every once in a while on the microphone, record podcasts, record YouTube, and just call it a day. But I do want this to grow. It's one of my big endeavors is to see this grow so we can do more investigations. We can do more traveling and meeting you guys and more in your neck of the woods is one of the visions I have for the future of this show. And in order to make that happen, I got to get more people interested. So this ghost is a deep thinker from the age of reason. Absolutely. Absolutely, Phil. Yep. Vernal is closer, but my brother is up in Montana, so it would be a great ride for me. Well, come on up, man. It'd be great to see you in Pocatello. Yeah. I'll be there with the portal booth. And it's just going to be me, but you're welcome to come on up. That'll be great. But Don is going to be in Vernal with me, as is Sheldon, as the plan is. So hopefully some of you guys can make it to that. I know that several of you have said you'll be there. I know Barbara's going to be there too, and I'm sure Karen will be over there with Neil. Karen and Neil, hopefully you make it. I'd love to see you there again. But anyway, that's the promotion for the Bigfoot Rendezvous, ladies and gentlemen. Come check it out. It's going to be a great event. And Dr. Jeff Meldrum is incredibly interesting to talk to. I got to show you guys this. This was really cool. If you can get this, I would really recommend it because it's a hell of a thing. If I can find it. Where did I put it? Oh, this is my conference folder. It's one of Minion's old school book folders, but he doesn't need them anymore because he's on summer break. Or school folders. Let's put that there because that's not what I'm looking for. This is what I'm looking for. Speaking of cryptids, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Jeff Meldrum puts this out. And this, let me go to the full screen here so you guys can see it. It's the Bigfoot field guide, Sasquatch field guide. And this is put together by Dr. Jeff Meldrum. And it is absolutely full of, it's just like a big pamphlet, but it's so full of incredible information, including a ruler on the top ridge of the backside, so that if you find a print, you can pull it out and get a measurement of that print. It goes up to 21 inches, 21 and a half inches, it looks like it goes up to. But, I mean, it's got great information talking about everything from hair and scat, stacked rocks and tree breaks and nests, cultural signs. Those are a lot of the glyphs and stuff that were painted by First Nations tribes. And there is distribution and habitat, as far as we know, diet and feeding information. There's structural information, communications and vocalizations. And he goes into those things. The taphonomy, which is, I guess, it's where's the body. Just a lot of great information just to have at your fingertips. If you're looking to get into this, this is it again. I would really recommend this. It's just kind of a a great thing you could stuff in. If you're going out looking for Squatch, you can stuff it in your pack and have some great information right there. There's just so much cool stuff that is available here. And it's just in a pamphlet form. It's just really cool. So Utah, Idaho are both hidden gems with mountains. People always get blown away when they see our canyons. Yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what, the drive from here down to Vernal, Utah, even though it's like 14 hours, and there's stretches of it that are really boring, but when you're going from, I'm not sure if it's Idaho into Utah. So you go through the edge of Montana and then go down is the way we go. We go around Missoula and then down, but there is such beautiful country. And then as you're going into Utah, you pass through some of those fossil fields. And that is some of the most beautiful, red rocks and different layers of rock. You can just see, it's like an ancient seabed or something. It's just breathtaking country to drive through. And there's this one part where you're up on top of the mountains and you got to watch out because people like open range their cows, and you got to just kind of like honk to get them out of your way. I mean, even if you hit one, it'll be your fault. Like, even if they're just in the road and you're driving too fast, if you hit one, it's like a big fine, and it's a mess. So you got to deal with these freaking cows that are just wandering, and you're kind of weaving. That you'll come around a corner and there's like 3 cows in the road. It's crazy, but it's a beautiful, beautiful country. I know it's a long drive, but it's a beautiful drive. I don't know what it's like coming from the south up. I imagine that's a lot less entertaining if you're coming from the south of there, but it's beautiful country. So yeah, please do, Barbara. Please post your print pictures on Discord. They're interesting to look at. Again, I don't think they're huge prints, but there is some features that look like they could be legitimate. Definitely. 24-hour flight to UK. Are you going to the UK, Maggie? Utah is where my family's from. Yes, a lot of open range up there. Yeah, it's beautiful though. I mean, even though it's open range and stuff, it's some beautiful forest. And then you ascend up these switchback roads up to the top, and then you kind of go over the top of this range, and then you go down, and then you're essentially looking at Vernal after you come down off the mountains. It's pretty cool. Vernal itself is not the most visually exciting place, the actual area that the town is in. But this is the Uinta Basin. And it's all strange and weird up there with Skinwalker Ranch and UFO sightings and hauntings. It's just a supercharged area for paranormal stuff. And last time we were there, we did, Don and I did some investigating with Jaron and Roman from Supernatural Station. Jaron's right here in the chat. Roman was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here, but we did an investigation at his family's property in the region of Skinwalker Ranch. We got some crazy stuff. I intend on putting the video together to show you what we experienced, but it was a neat place. I mean, you're in the desert, and it looks like you're in the desert. It's pretty crazy. The spirit that touched us both, it touched you, Jaron, at the event or at that location. And then I got back to the hotel and was laying down to go to sleep. Don was out like a light, just boom. He was like somebody hit the switch, and he was sawing logs. And I was in my bed, and I was just laying on my side, and I just started to drift, and something pushed me on the back. Now, I'm laying on my side. It pushed me on the back hard enough to actually roll me onto my face. And I was pissed. I was literally pissed. I was like, oh, no, you don't touch. And I'm not bragging. I'm not trying to say I'm so cool or whatever. But something about that just pisses me off, because that's the barrier. Like, this is my space. This is my sanctity. I don't give things permission to touch me or use my energy or any of that. I think that's a very bad idea. But this thing just pushed me on the back. And it wasn't like a smack. It was like a shove, but kind of like a smack. And it was like, just like that. I was just like, I was mad. I got up just cussing. I was like, you will never bleep, 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 touch me, bleep, bleep, bleep. Yeah, I touched you on the land. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't like when they cross that barrier. I don't ever give things permission to touch. So I've had something like that happen, but through my pillow, it lifted my head enough to wake me. It was weird. That is weird. Yeah, I mean, if they're intangible, these are energetic beings, so they can do stuff like that. Uh-oh, I hear a minion. There's a minion coming. What time is it, minion? It's 9:19. Wow, I did go long tonight. We never got to Phantoms and Monsters, ladies and gentlemen, but we did get through the portal. How you doing, buddy?
Good.
Minion's on summer break now, folks, so we get a lot of minion time now, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Did you have a good day today?
Mm-hmm.
Good. You smell good.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. You know that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
That's it? Oh, okay. Well, are you going to help me close the show?
Yeah.
Are you? Are you going to say the final lines, or are you going to let me do it? Do you remember them? No? Oh, that's you got to go to your room and think about that. Buddhists have professional ghostbusters, so to speak. Help them move on. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, honestly, I think that's a good thing, and I think most investigations should include, the opportunity to help them pass if you can, or to bring in somebody that can. I think that in some cases these beings are stuck, and they just need to go home. They don't know that they're past, or they're, not able to make the transition, or they missed the light or whatever. So I think having people there that can help transition is great. So Chucky says, "Hey, minion."
Hi.
Just barely catching the show. Well, it's just all that matters that you're here. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. I love the pictures. The little guy's growing fast. Wow. How's that possible? He was just this big not long ago. I don't know. That's the age, the years. Paranormal Portal Minion has the best t-shirts. Oh, yeah. Let the good times bowl. Let the good times bowl. Absolutely. All right. Well, I guess that's going to wrap it up for us. I've been chewing your ear off. I didn't do a bunch of stories tonight. Sorry, guys. I just got talking. But I hope you don't mind. I mean, it's just kind of fun to kind of go off script and have some talks. I like that. I like sharing ideas as well, folks. It's a beautiful rock. Speaking of rocks, I was meaning to show you guys this. I should maybe do it on Friday more, but I'll hold it up. This is an artifact that I found as a kid on the beach where I grew up. This is from Lake Pepin, Minnesota. And I hope you can see it. Here it is. And you can see the stripe in the rock. This was actually some kind of a First Nations mallet or hammer. There's another crease along the backside here that you might not be able to see, but it's like there was more to the stone here that broke off and probably came loose from the fletchings or whatever. But this is a discovery I made. That's like where they did all the pounding on this side. And I don't know, this is probably about, a couple pounds, maybe. It's like a granite, but it was part of a First Nations hammer of some kind, or mallet, or even a weapon. I don't know. But I found this when I was a kid, gave it to my grandmother, and she had it and kept it and had it on her mantle. And then as an adult, I saw it there and I went, oh, I remember finding that. I want to go get this checked out. So I took it to an archaeologist, and he said that it was from an ancient version of the First Nation tribes, but it was from what he said was the Woodland Indians, and this was before they broke into the more modern tribal names. But it was probably from 1,000 to 2,500 years when I found it old. So there it is. So I keep it on the desk here. So it's kind of neat that I'm holding a piece of ancient history. Phil says hammer time. Yeah. So I just thought that was neat. Some people find arrowheads, but I found a hammer. A part of a hammer, anyway. So there you go. I was meant to show you guys that. What?
What about this?
What about that? That's just a smooth rock.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily an artifact. Maybe it's an old megalodon tooth. I don't know. Found this smooth rock when I was walking with Minion.
Megalodon truth.
You do have a megalodon tooth, don't you? It's upstairs, yeah? Or where is it?
Upstairs.
Okay, yeah.
Also a smooth rock, a more smooth rock.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's true.
Where'd the other smooth rocks go?
But anyway,
I found these.
okay. All right. I guess we're going to wrap up the show, guys, but thanks. Meg teeth are radioactive. Well, it might be. It was a gift from Portal Mom to the Minion, and he loves it. It's a big old tooth. And so anyway, Great Uncle's Arrowhead from the UK is in the British Museum. Yeah, I think that's really cool. And maybe this piece should be in a museum too. It's just such a piece of my history, personal history, that brings back memories, So I guess I haven't donated it to any museum, or I thought about donating back to the tribe in the region that I grew up, but I haven't done that yet. Maybe that'll be something I'll do at the twilight of my years. I'll say, and this goes to the First Nations tribe where I grew up. So all the best. I appreciate you guys, and the show keeps me learning and talking with folks. Amen, Jaron. Thanks for coming in, only because he's no longer here. What was Maggie talking about? Who's no longer here? What's going on? I love the Meg tooth. Oh, yeah, because he's no longer here. Yeah, if they were still here. Some people say they are, Maggie. Just saying. Thank you, guys. Again, I apologize for all the ad lib and all the babbling I've been doing. I hope that's okay. But I do miss you guys when I didn't do shows, and doing the shows, no shows over the weekend. It was like, I couldn't wait to get back here tonight and see you guys again. So thank you so much for all the love and support, and thanks for hanging out with me. And I hope you guys are doing wonderful and everything's wonderful. And Paul Hellier is no longer here. You're right. Thank you, Justin. Great to see you, brother. I really appreciate it. I somehow did that. Let's see. I want to see. Nice relic or artifact. Yeah, I mean, it is. It's kind of a pretty amazing find, really, but it's just the luck of being a kid. Like, why does that rock have those stripes on it? So I picked it up and I was like, this isn't normal. I just kept it because I thought it was unique. And then as an adult, I was like, ooh, wait a minute. That's really not normal. So there it is. Good night, guys. Listening while I finish chores. Well, thank you, Cherie. It's good to see you. Or Sherry, sorry. Great to see you. And all of you guys. Bobo is a cool David. Rock on, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to wrap it up. Good night, everybody. We love you all. Be good. Be kind.
And laugh as much as you can.
Wait, you kind of cut to the beginning. Be good, be kind, be nice. Take care of each other. Help each other out. Find the magic in it in every day. And
laugh as much as you can.
There it is, folks. All right. You guys have a great night. And love you all. And we'll see you on Friday. I think Sheldon should be here. But either way, I'll be here. So, and then I'll be here Saturday as well. So take care, everybody. Be good. And I'll talk to you as soon as I can. We'll see you. Roll the credits.